Alright guys, we're back for another Dokkan battle video, and finally, look at this. We have the story event for Fusion Reborn, the Gogeta movie. We have never had a story event for this movie until now. It is pretty surprising, honestly, but finally we got it. Looks like it's 7 stages, and there is 1 new unit to grind up, which is a new VEKU. The new VEKU is fine. I think a lot of people were hoping for an awakening for the old one, especially because I think I do like the design, or at least the way they were going with the old one, better than this one. But obviously, you know, more new units and units for like fusion and stuff like that is not a bad thing, right? Otherworld Warriors gives increased drop rates for this event, so let's go ahead and hop in and let's see, you know, how they do the story and stuff like that. Seems like there's only 1 stage where they're actually talking about the things that are happening on Earth, right? Where like all the dead are able to cross over. Okay, so it's Otherworld Warriors, huh? So probably, yeah, Super Saiyan 3 Goku, I guess, is who we're gonna go with. Here, let me go to slot 1, and let's go ahead and build an Otherworld Warrior team. Otherworld Warrior, which is this one right here. Okay. My Super Saiyan 3 Goku is not done. Actually, neither is my Pikkon. We'll add him in there. Angel Golden Frieza we can get in there. I don't know, I guess, well, they're all done, you're done. I guess we'll do Kaioken Goku. I'm pretty much just looking for units, well, they're LR, so they'll give us the biggest boost rate. But for the most part, when I'm like grinding and stuff like that, I like to bring units that I need link levels on, right? More so than just units that are going to actually increase the drop rate. So like, what I'm going to do when I'm actually grinding this off screen, when I'm getting VEKU completed, is any units I have right now that are completed, right? Like any units that are full level 10 links, I'm not going to be using for this grind. That's the reason I'm using Super Saiyan 3 Goku instead of Angel Frieza too, is because my Super Saiyan 3 Goku is not done, whereas my Angel Golden Frieza does have full level 10 links. Alright, so here's Pikkon and Super Kaioken Goku. Here we're actually going to be able to activate that Otherworld Warrior link for Pikkon. Oh, funny. And we're also going to be able to get the unit super attack. Cool, yeah. That's pretty good. Honestly, I think Super Saiyan Angel Kaioken Goku is a pretty good candidate or option, I think, for a Dokkan Fest, right? I do think that would be cool. I don't know if they would do a dual Dokkan Fest for, like, Pikkon and Angel Kaioken Goku, but that would be interesting, right? Because we do have the Pikkon, you know, for where he doesn't have his weighted clothes on, and he does, like, sort of like that Thunder Flash attack or whatever. That's not even in the game yet, so that would be very, very cool. Alright, so yeah, the movie starts out with Goku and Pikkon fighting. Yeah, there's the little demon kid, the little worker who gets, like, all the evil, like, you know, splashed all over him, and then transforms into Janemba, right? This movie, by the way, I would actually say is probably a lot closer to being overrated than, like, properly rated or anything like that. I've always found this movie to be kind of... It's a little bit iffy, because they spend a lot of time on Earth, and a lot of that stuff just really isn't that entertaining, I would say. The one thing, though, that is cool, like, when Gohan fights Frieza and each one-shots Frieza, that's very, very satisfying, right? But for the most part, I would say a lot of the stuff that you see happen is just not really that big of a deal. And, like, they have the whole subplot where Gotenks is fighting Hitler, which is just, like, you know, Goten and Trunks, and eventually they fuse into Gotenks, are fighting Hitler. It's just very odd, right? It's definitely an odd choice for the movie, I would say. But they spend a lot of time on Goten and Trunks, and then obviously once Goku and Vegeta successfully fuse into Gogeta at the end of the film, that's where Gotenks also appears. Gotenks, by the way, I think does not have any cards on Movie Heroes, right? Despite the fact that Gotenks appears in this movie and also in the Hirudegarn movie. So that would not be a horrible thing for them to release maybe an LR Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks or something like that, but it's from the Hirudegarn movie. Although, I believe the pose of physical Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks is actually from the Hirudegarn movie. It's just that, like, they get, like, Dokkan did a really bad job separating units into Movie Heroes and Majin Buu Saga. Like, they just completely, like ganked it. It's just, it's not correct. And I don't think characters should be on both Movie Heroes and Majin Buu Saga, right? I think, because it's like characters aren't on the Planet Namek Saga and also in the Android Saga. It's one or the other, right? Like, they're either in the movies or they're from the Buu Saga. It's one or the other. So, you know, it definitely would not be the greatest for a lot of players for them to sort of, like, change it and rectify that like that, right? Because it certainly allows Boo Saga to get a lot of additional characters, because many of them, like Android 18, you know, some of the Gotens and Trunkses, like LR Gohan and Goten and them like that, they're all from like movies, but they're also added to the Boo Saga. But I don't agree with them doing that. All right, so Janemba, of course, plays around with Goku for a while until Goku goes Super Saiyan 3, and then he just torches Janemba's asshole inside out, right? And then it's the Angel Super Saiyan 3 Goku, like, Dokkan Fest card is, like, definitely supposed to be from his fight with Janemba, right? The card art and then also his super attack animation for sure are from his fight against Janemba. And then the transforming Super Saiyan 3 one, that's, I guess, more so supposed to be from the one against Fat Boo, although it is weird with what they're trying to say with the categories, right? Because, like, I feel like the one that... oh, wait, there's a lot of different fights here. Okay, so yeah, now we're on Earth where we got, you know, Great Saiyaman and Videl and stuff like that, and then Frieza! That right there is a unit that's been removed from banners, by the way. That card art right there. Since Mira and Toa were added back to banners, I would love to see that Frieza eventually added back to banners as well. Certainly could happen, I think, if they ever did Resurrection F. Alright, so we have Turles' minions, Bojack, and then the Ginyu Force, I think. This is funny. Let's go ahead and do one of these fights here. So let's go ahead and fight, I guess, the Bojack minions right here. So it's Bojack and Zangia, huh? We'll be able to take them down pretty easily. I guess when grinding this stage with multiple fights like this, that would be good, of course, for link levels, right? Because the thing about link levels is that when you enter the stage, like, your link levels are, like, randomly applied to fights, right? And, like, the more fights that occur in, like, the event, the better it is, right? So it is, good to see multiple fights like that. Okay, we didn't, so no link levels for that one right there. That's fine. And then, of course, this is where Gohan one-shots Frieza. I do love this. You know, and you do see a bunch of other, like, sort of, like, villains, like, show up at the same time. Like, they're kind of, like, in the background and stuff like that, which, you know, is cool, I guess. All right, so there we have the unit super attack. Obviously, on the Otherworld Warrior team, it's going to be easy for Pikkon to be able to do that. So I've been using Pikkon a little bit. I actually kind of like Pikkon. I think Pikkon is a solid enough unit. I think they did a good job with him. So far, Janemba has seen maybe... oh, nice. 2 link levels for Pikkon right there. That's good. But so far, Janemba to me has seemed maybe a little bit underwhelming, unfortunately, right? I haven't really been too impressed by him. Now, here's where, you know, they try and use Shenron to, like, kind of, like, close... because... when Janemba's created, like, he kind of, like, shuts down all of Otherworld, like, and messes it up with, like, those jelly bean things that he does, right? And, like, he just completely destroys Otherworld. And it kind of, like, allows, like, the dead to travel back to Earth. And, like, they use the Dragon Balls to try and restore it. But I guess, presumably because Janemba himself is way too powerful, Shenron is not able to fix it, right? Because Janemba... or Shenron can't do stuff outside of his power, especially for a character that is directly stronger than him, right? And of course, Janemba, who requires freaking Gogeta to beat, obviously is, like, stronger than Shenron, and, like, you know, Shenron's creator at that time is Dende, right? Like, yeah, I don't think Dende would fare too well against Janemba. I'm just saying, right? Like, our boy Janemba, or our boy Dende, poor Dende. By the way, Dende, you know, one day we'll get a Dende unit. I really do think Dende deserves one too, especially with all his healing and, like, the Frieza saga and stuff like that. All right, so now we're fighting this fat Janemba again. I believe this fight is a 2-parter, a 2-phase fight, and then we're gonna go ahead and move into Super Janemba. By the way, don't forget that the STR Janemba is going to be getting an EZA in, like, a week's time or so. So that's going to be very interesting to see, right? All right, so here's where Janemba does the sort of, like, transformation, goes into Super Janemba, and of course Super Janemba is a problem. Ooh, is that new art right there? Yeah, I don't recall seeing that before. Okay. That's fine. I mean, eventually we would get, like, an LR Janemba for sure, right? An LR Janemba, I think, would happen at some point in the future. I do think he would be a heavy candidate for best unit in the game as well. I'd be very excited for that. And, like, Janemba, I mean, I think Janemba is definitely one of the more interesting, like, movie hero villains, just in, like, the types of attacks he does and shit like that, right? And, like, you know, his kind of, like the, like, teleportation stuff that he does. Like, Janemba is just very, very interesting. So I think he would make a very good LR card at some point in the future. So Goku gets torn up, and then Vegeta shows up just to also get torn up. Vegeta, he really gets trashed in this movie. I mean, it's one of those things where, like, it's like Angel Vegeta shows up to fight, and, like, I remember doesn't Janemba basically hit him with one attack? Like, he kind of hits Vegeta and then, like, sort of extends his arm and sends Vegeta through, like, the jelly beans and shit like that. And just from that, I believe that's where, like, Vegeta's clothes get torn and shit like that. It's like, man, Vegeta. Like, Vegeta does, I guess, okay against Janemba until Janemba actually starts attacking back. And it doesn't really work out so good. So, yeah, this is, I guess, where Vegeta... Yeah, like, that right there. Is that... Because that's not, like, one of those, like, weird... Like, that looks like that could be card art right there. And that's not, like... So, like, okay, notice how, like, that Goku, right? Like, that Goku is just one of these, like, story event assets. That's not like, a card art. But that Janemba right there does, to me, look like card art, dude. And, like, we know that Vegeta is also... Like, that's card art! And that's not, like, a current card art that's in the game. I mean, here's the thing. Okay, I'm going to be very curious to see if any of the Gogeta art, when Gogeta shows up in the story event, is going to be new, right? Because, again, I fully... Well, probably not, because the unit I'm expecting that we're going to get at some point, probably not too far in the future, is a revamp for the 3rd year anniversary unit, right? So what I think we're going to see what we're going to see happen is, like, I don't know, maybe like a tech, like Goku and Vegeta that transform into Gogeta, again, like sort of like STR Vegito, like the exact same type of thing for Gogeta. I think we're going to see that, and then I guess they potentially could maybe do like an LR Janemba alongside him. So maybe that would be like a dual Dokkan Fest. I mean, we have had a lot of movie hero stuff happening lately. Now, like last year, the New Year's celebration, which was this guy, Super Saiyan 3 Goku and Majin and Vegeta, they, like, that eventually, like, they kept doing Buu Saga stuff until eventually STR Vegito and Buhan was the worldwide download celebration, right? So see, like, that Vegeta art right there, that's not card art. You could tell, like, that's not card art. That's just stuff they've got for the story event. But that Janemba art was new. That's not stuff we've seen before. That's stuff that could easily be card art. Now, I am saying this, I don't expect we're going to see another Janemba card anytime soon, right? Like, you know, the earliest we potentially could see maybe like Janemba and like that Gogeta come to fruition, I think, would be Saiyan Day. I think that Gogeta I've been sort of talking about, I think we could see him for Saiyan Day on Global and JP at the same time. But for Saiyan Day, I don't think they would do a dual Dokkan Fest. Because that would be that would potentially be 3 almost consecutive dual Dokkan Fests for JP. They don't like to do that, right? Which is why typically Golden Week ends up like so far pushed back on Global. Is because they don't want to do the Golden Week dual Dokkan Fest like right around Global's anniversary and then also Worldwide Download Celebration, right? So that's typically what they do. But JP has been sliding in a Dokkan Fest at the start of March the last couple of years. So yeah, so Goku and Vegeta mess up the fusion, and then Veku comes out. What's interesting about Veku is that Veku gets his own name here. Like the Kais actually just call him Veku, but like Gotenks is just like Gotenks' failure. So I feel like maybe I'm stupid, but I feel like that Veku should just be Gogeta. Like this is just Gogeta, but it's like failed Gogeta, right? Like not. Because, again, like, the fat Gotenks, they're just, like, the fat and skinny Gotenks. It's kind of a similar thing, right? All right, I guess we'll just go ahead and have the physical Gogeta finish this off. Oh, this is, This is the stage where you grind the Veku card, and it's also very annoying because you have to do 2 turns for this one, huh? You can tell because there's a little charge thing up there. So we have to take like 6 attacks. We have to do two full rotations and this fight ends. Again, that's going to make it a little bit more annoying for grinding Veku up, because typically, you know, you hop into one of these story events and like this, like, you know, this is a one-shot for the boss, but like all of these animations are playing and you actually have to go through multiple turns before grinding up Veku. So that's going to make this quite a bit more annoying, right, than it could be if we just, you know, were able to grind it. That last art right there, I moved by a little quick, but that looked like just one of those story art cut-ins, actually. Just like, again, the Goku and Vegeta stuff. All right, so they defuse, and then here's where the true hero of the movie, Pikkon, shows up to allow Goku and Vegeta time. Yep, there he is, Pikkon, to allow them time to fuse. You gotta love it. Okay. And by the way, looking at it, haven't really seen any new art besides potentially like that one for Janemba, so I don't know. But again, I would think eventually we are going to get probably just a standalone LR Super Janemba card, which again could be like potentially one of the best units in the game. I think we'll probably get an LR Final Form Cooler at some point. Like those types of, I feel like those would sell well too. Like LR Janemba, LR Cooler. I mean, we have LR Turles and LR Bojack, so like, you know, Cooler and Janemba, who I think are much more high profile villains than Turles and Bojack, right? Okay, so like that right there, that's part of Pycon's unit super attack, but that does look very good. But we know that's part of his unit super attack, and then that's the 3-year anniversary Gogeta right there, and then so is that right there, right? So all that art is art that is previous. None of that we just saw is new, right? It's all old stuff, so that is a little bit unfortunate, but usually it is pretty easy to be able to spot the assets. Was that Janemba standing there? Actually, was that an asset from his transformation? That might be what that is, huh? I have to go rewatch Janemba transform again, but that might be what that is. I think that's an asset from Janemba transforming. Don't forget about Pycon having that awesome ability, by the way, of when Pycon gets 1 Rainbow Orb, he gets an additional 4 key, which is super, super good. There's that dodging kicking in. Again, I like Pycon. Pycon is pretty good. He really is. I really am quite the fan of the unit super attack Pycon right here. I think he's pretty solid. The more and more I use him, the more I like all the different things he can do. I'm still not the biggest fan of how they set up his support type abilities, Sandman and Janemba, but to me, Pycon is like a bit more, like he's doing a lot, but I think he'll be a bit more consistent than Janemba. I don't know. And then again, that I think that's just Gogeta from like the unit super attack or something like that. And then what's interesting about Gogeta using the Soul Punisher is that it just reverts. That's Vegeta from his active skill, right? Yeah, that art for Vegeta right there was from his active skill, the LR Angel Vegeta. And then yeah, the very end of the movie is just Shenron sort of clowning around like right there, like, oh, are you guys ever gonna make a wish? Like, all right, so we didn't even get the drop for Veku from stage 6, but I'm gonna go ahead and finish up the grind. Let me go ahead and get Veku done. I'm going to finish up the grind for him, and we'll go ahead and Dokkan Awaken him. We will rainbow him on camera like here, like I typically do at these story events. And then again, I'll do my typical rainbow showcase video for Veku as well, where I have him at maybe like Link level 5s or something like that. I don't know if Veku is the character I'm going to try and prioritize to get to level 10 Links for a while, though. There is Veku. Oh, nice. We also got like some keys and stuff like that. Very good, very good. Alright, so let me go ahead and lock up our boy Veku, and then again, I will go ahead and get to grinding our boy and getting him completed. Alright guys, so we have Veku completed. All done. The boy Veku, unfortunately, his drop rate was not that good. It actually took me a few more runs than I would have liked. I guess it's not really the biggest deal, though, because I was able to link level, like, Pycon and some other units while doing it. I mean, that is a really good thing about the link level update system being here, is that even just grinding, like, characters like this, like, you're able to get some link leveling for some characters, so it works out pretty well, right? So let's go ahead and Dokkan Awaken Veku. Now, again, I'm not the biggest fan of this Veku, really. I mean, I look at his leader skill, and I feel as though we could see Veku Dokkan Awaken, or excuse me, Easy 8 at some point in one of those, like, you know, 77% leaders. But then again, I remember thinking, like, when Golden Frieza and Sorbet came out, like the GT Vegeta, like, a lot of these units to me, it's like, it seems like they're just missing just a small piece, and they'd be very, very good. Like, that Golden Frieza and Sorbet, he gets an Easy 8, and he is going to be a very interesting unit. I mean, I'm sure these types of characters, we could see them Easy 8 in the future to be used for future Prime Battle LR Easy 8s, because look how monstrous Goku and Frieza are. Some of these other units are also, likewise, going to be ridiculously over-the-top powerful, right? So, I mean, if you're someone who has never really grinded free-to-play units and stuff like that up until now, I would recommend undertaking the grind for a lot of these characters, because the thing about it is now these characters, you know, lead to the LR Easy A's, and those guys are like super top tier. Absolutely worth it, right? So definitely make sure you go ahead and get the grind done for some of these guys. So here, of course, is the completed Veku. again, Veku is, I think he's going to be like an okay character here. He's nothing crazy. I mean, honestly, the physical Veku had a high chance of 50% damage reduction, which, I mean, you upgrade that a bunch, and he could be a very interesting defensive unit, which, like, the Fusion team could use, Otherworld Warriors could use, Movie Heroes could use, like, all these teams could use, like, a defensive ace like that. I mean, I know he's a free-to-play unit, but still, it could have been fairly good. Whereas this Veku is just, like, sort of like a, you know, he does damage, and he eventually could get chances to dodge and stuff like that. Like, I don't know, I think he's going to be a pretty solid unit, but if they gave him an easy A, he could be very good. But then again, I was positive Golden Frieza and Sorbet were going to get an easy A back in October, and it didn't quite come to fruition even yet now in December. So, but there we go. Veku is done. The story event is done. Thanks, guys, for watching. I'm going to grind up his links a little bit, and then we'll go ahead and check out Veku Rainbowed in a later date. So thanks, guys, for watching. Catch y'all next time.